Hello everyone, my name is Pavel Savianko. I'm the guy behind Rocket Science Sailing. I do sailing, I love sailing, and I organize plenty of sailing trips every year, and I invite of course everyone to join to me. How to join to? It's enough to go on my website and just buy a voucher and register for the trip and join. You are in. How to do it I explained already in another videos. Just take a look on YouTube or on the page with tutorials. How the registration page is organized, how to find the trip and everything like that I already explained. In this video I will shortly go over different types of vouchers to explain why there are so many and for what they are. So okay, let's take a look at the website. For that we go here. So that is the start page of my website. So we see here immediately suggestion to join the sailing trip. If you want to, you can go directly. But we are now after is the actually online shop. So if one goes here and takes gets the list of different vouchers, and they have a different type. So the vouchers which I have is I want to try sailing, that's the name of the type of the voucher, fun with friends, sailing impressions, and exotic sailing. These vouchers, they correspond to different types of sailing trips which we formulate. For example, this I want to try sailing, that is usually dedicated to either short sailing trips in time, or special sailing trips called skipper training, where we do actually only a couple of days, 3-4, which we dedicate only for training. So these sailing trips are actually very short, very probably on IJsselmeer in Netherlands, and therefore they have this type, and therefore there is a special voucher for it. Voucher fun with friends, that is dedicated to sailing trip, which is usually located on typical sailing region, maybe Mediterranean Sea, Baltic Sea, North Sea, a little bit outside of the high season. In this time, a little bit, not necessary, it's not necessary, but we target usually a little bit outside. It is usually done on very regular cruiser yacht, Bavaria, Hanse, Darfur, and so on, and such similar. And it's usually dedicated to just sailing, and that's why we call it fun with friends, because we suggest you to invite your friends and to have a nice time. The sailing voucher, sailing impressions, is actually dedicated to impressions during sailing. So that might be either sailing on a relatively special yacht, it can be flat bottom, it can be class 40, it can be a racing pogo yacht, or it can be some special location, which is then usually more costly, and therefore such trips like, for example, Norway. So this trip would be then of type sailing impressions, then you would require the voucher sailing impressions. And we have also the voucher exotic sailing, that is usually dedicated or used for the sailing trips which are done on some locations which are exotic for us, North Hemisphere Europeans. That might be, and which is also not typical sailing location, like Mediterranean Sea, for example. So that might be French Polynesia, that might be South Asia, Pacific, or Indian Ocean. That might be High North. It might be Lofoten, not maybe, but it can be Caribbean during the winter months. Something like that. So or something that requires special preparation. So that would be then such voucher. This typically, like 99% of sailing trips, one needs one voucher per place. Nevertheless, we keep the possibility open that one would might to need two vouchers per place, for example, if it is something like expedition, something really exotic. While I was thinking to make a sailing trip in Kamchatka, for example, that is something very special, and there I would probably require multiple vouchers per place, because that is already not a sailing trip but rather expedition, or something similar like sailing to Svalbard or to Iceland or somewhere like that, which is very rare, very special in preparations, and therefore one would need. But in 99% times one could expect one voucher per place. This is also listed, of course, in a web page which describes the trip, and there is a stating how many vouchers per trip are needed. And then I have 3 additional vouchers. 2 of them are so-called add-ons. So one is no worries, another is refunder, and another voucher is like my skipper. So I will explain now. During the sailing trip, so first of all, the voucher as it by itself gives you only a place on a boat. But during the sailing trip, one has expenses, and these expenses they vary. They cannot be estimated ahead, so therefore they are kept separately. That is typical for everywhere in the sailing. This is usually like petrol for the yacht. This might be the proviant, payment for marinas, payment for electricity or for anything like that. So all basically expenses during the trip. It might be also that the crew decides to pay something for the boat. I don't know. One cannot just give you complete list now. But that is the basically expenses of the trip, and they are usually kept separate. So if you buy this voucher and register it together with your normal voucher, then I know it, I see it, and then the Rocket Science Sailing takes over your part of this trip costs. As experience shows, this arriving to the marina and going away from the marina, so basically traveling, is very individual and varies also with very, very differently from people to people due to the individual vacation plans, for example. Some people want to stay in a place, some people go a little bit further, some people return home directly, so it is really completely different, and therefore traveling is not covered with this no worries. But basically you came to the boat, so from there on you have no costs except of personal presence and personal shoppings basically. And then once the trip is over, starting with a taxi and going away, that is again on you basically. With a voucher refunder, it might be something special. Maybe I hope I can explain it more or less. I start preparation for the sailing trip, basically, which I suggest once 3 vouchers are registered for this trip, or I know that they are going to be registered. And then that takes usually time. So till this moment, while I am still preparing the trip is so-called not confirmed. During this time, it is harmless, it is possible to register, to unregister, to join, to cancel, and so on, without any financial, basically, damage or any financial follows. But at some moment, I I make promises and obligations towards the owner of the yacht, provider of the yacht. And after that, the trip is confirmed. So it means it's gonna happen. You can also rely on it, and so on. It means it is not anymore so free to cancel your participation from such a trip, because it's already confirmed. It's already the insurances are probably bought and contract is signed, and. So. There are two solutions for you as a co-sailor. It's basically you either get yourself so-called travel insurance, where you get basically your coverage of costs, which is typically the cost of voucher, maybe travel as well. Currently now, at this moment, like today, which is 26th of March of 2023, we do not offer such travel insurance, so you would have to do it by yourself. In the future, I would probably organize, I will offer also travel insurance for this exactly format, which would cover the cost of voucher, and that will be then possible to also check mark while registration to the trip. Currently no, but maybe. Second solution which we offer now is to buy and to register this add-on refunder. So what does it do? If the trip is registered or confirmed, then you will have opportunity to jump off from the trip without relatively big damage, let's say financial costs. It will be not for free, but it will be you will not lose the whole voucher, for example. So what happens then you lose, of course, this voucher, this add-on refunder, because that's being used, and the voucher which you have been using for the trip changes its type in a way. Exotic sailing turns into sailing impression turns into fun with friends turns into I want to try voucher disappears because there is no lower value of voucher. In this way, you still, even if you have to jump off, you will still have opportunity to join to sailing trip, maybe not the same kind, but you will still have a voucher and you still can register right to some sailing trip. Therefore, it is a trade-off. It is to minimize risk also for us and minimize cost for you in the case of such force majeure, let's say, when you have to cancel despite all the preparation, despite all this registrations. And the last voucher is the My Skipper voucher. That is basically a voucher which you can get to book me as a skipper for your trip. So if you have boat, if you have maybe crew, if you have a location, idea of the trip, but you would like to have someone with more experience than maybe you or maybe your friends, so you would like to have someone who has more miles behind, like me, for example, so you can book me. And to make it easy, I just offer that such a voucher. You book one voucher per day of my basically involvement. So if you want to have me for a week, just get 7 of such vouchers. If you want to have me for, I don't know, 3 days, 3 of such vouchers. I see it. Usually after that we just organize additional group and we get into contact and we discuss details, and then it's basically done. Yeah? So in this way it is easier to have it organized. I think that's all. So this with all these vouchers you can join to any of my trip, and also you have plenty of freedom, and I hope I see you on board of Rocket Science Sailing. Bye bye.